Hello everyone, this is Stephen Sykes. I'm here in Richmond, Virginia. I'm feeling the whole video thing today, so I just want to knock a few out. One of the topics that I'm wanted to talk about also is this issue with Mark Maguire and Barry Bonds and the steroids thing. Now I know for many of you it may not be a big issue or deal, but a couple of points that I want to hit on real quickly. It's just stupid. Just plain stupid. Now, regarding Barry Bonds, before the whole steroid thing, even the question about him steroid comes about, he was already a great player in my mind, pretty much probably one of the best players, if not the best player in NBL or Major League Baseball history, excuse me. And then the whole thing, of course, he got bigger, his head swelled and things like that, and that leads you to believe that there's something else going on. But we constantly crucifying him. Now, usually when the federal government comes after you and indicts you, they usually got something pretty strong after you. But it's now going on some years now, past 4 or 5 years, and they still have not gotten to Barry Bonds. He's still not in jail. They try to put his trainer, go after his wife, his ex-wife, all these different things, and still do not have enough to convict this man, even go to court, and definitely not going to jail. So drop it by now, because obviously, whether you did or not, you don't have enough and you're wasting time and money. Second, I'm really ticked off that you crucify this man versus Mark Maguire. Now, I understand Barry Bonds was not necessarily the greatest person to all the media, but all accounts he was good to his teammates overall. And, you know, the man just got tired of it. And I can understand his point of view, because no matter what you say, you got people turning you around, turning your words around, making you look like you're like an a-hole. And this is not Mr. Barry Bonds in his mind, but he would just rather say, you know what, forget it, I'm just not going to talk to you. And that's basically how it is. So people took it as surly and truculent. He could have done some things better, I'd be the first to agree. But as overall, he just chose not to. But you're crucified for that, and you looked at as you're this bad person because you took a different stance than most people. And that's not right. So they use that against him, and he should not be the face of the steroid era when Mark Maguire and Sammy Sosa was the one leading this big charge. Those who were not part of baseball, involved in baseball, watched the local news. You're seeing Tom Brokaw on the news, you know, a new record in home run today, constantly every other day when these homers were hitting at a fast pace. And as a baseball fan and sports fan, it upset me because I'm like, there's a lot more to baseball than just home runs. Then again, it's just kind of crazy. And now Mark Maguire comes out and says this, that, and the other. And it's very frustrating because he says, oh, it didn't affect me, it didn't help me, this, that, and the other. Now, there's only one point I want to say this regarding steroids. It does not help you swing that bat any better and things like that. You still have to have good hand-eye coordination to swing the ball. But now, to be healthy enough to swing the bat is a different story. To work out all this stuff, work out harder and longer, you can't do it without steroids. Take it for someone myself. I've taken a lot of steroids in my life. Some of it it could ban me from baseball. Now, I have asthma real bad and some other lingering health issues. But at the same time, everybody, if I went to the news in public and say that, oh, well, my kid grew out of asthma, asthma's not bad, all this other foolishness, but asthma affects everybody differently. And unfortunately, in my case, it's been very serious. But I would be banned from baseball, or people would come after me, and I don't think they would agree or be forgiving. So I can understand to a point, but still, you took it. Say it for what it was. You took the steroids to make more money, to look better physically, get the women, get the cars, all these different things, and it was wrong. You had Roger Maris's family, some extra members, generations down for Babe Ruth's family, all this stuff, and you shaking hands with the family, taking pictures, Sports Illustrated, ESPN, and that should be more, because he was the face. He was out there. He was the media darling, and more articles written about this than Barry Bonds. But then all the anger and the angst went to Barry Bonds, and it's unfair. And Jose Canseco told the truth. Yeah, some things maybe a tad bit embellished, but the man told the truth. and stood up and said, look, I did it to make money, to get the girls, to compete with everybody else. Hey, he stood up for what it is. Didn't make any other excuses like, oh, because I was hurt all the time. Last I checked, just about every other athlete gets hurt in playing these sports, and is hellish on your body. So, what's the excuse for everybody else? Derek Jeter, take any of these other major players. Now, about the Hall of Fame, I just don't see Mark Maguire, excuse me, as a Hall of Fame player. The man batted only 300 over like maybe 2 or 3 times over 16 years. Hit some home runs, but other than that, he wasn't all that great of a fielder. I can't recall the number of Gold Gloves, and the fact that you have to question to look it up tells you something right there. And he was a nice guy. He did all these things in the community, what have you, funny commercials. But still, I don't think he was a Hall of Fame player. Barry Bonds, yes, because a lot of those things that he did, what have you, I'm looking at it from the standpoint of before the steroid era. And there are a lot worse people in the Hall of Fame. Ty Cobb comes to bear in mind. Babe Ruth, there's all these nice things. The movie Babe, what have you, all paint Babe Ruth as this type of guy. But there was also some things that he did that were not very good and racist. Ty Cobb used to say a lot of racist and hateful things, sliding the fame with his cleats up, injuring a lot of people, some people's careers permanently. Just a lot of bad and dirty players. So really, if you want to use on that standpoint, he should be in. If you want to go from the standpoint of say, okay, we're trying to clean up baseball and not allow any more in, fine, but don't let them in. But get some of these other creatures out. Now, good and well, they're not going to let go some of these things, what have you. Joe DiMaggio was a drinker and beat women. All doing throughout his playing career and afterwards. Sad to see the man die the way he did. I don't want to see anybody die the way that they did. But still, are you going to look at that character versus betting on a game, which you didn't do as a player but as a manager? Just a lot of different things. So you have to think about these questions. Honestly, for me, I would put Barry Bonds in. I would put Roger Clemens in. And it's not just because I'm a fan of their players, them as a player, because I sure didn't like it when they get in playoffs and things like that, and they went anything against the Mets or the Yankees. I wasn't exactly the biggest of fans, but I always respected Barry Bonds' game, and Clemens, of course. So that aspect, yes, they should be in the Hall of Fame. Some of these other players, no. So that's pretty much it with it. Thanks. Have a blessed one. Bye bye. Oh, I got a headache.